It's that part of the week where we get stuck into some betting. We've got 2 games to jump into this week. Rocky, though, let's talk about last week really quickly. A surprise with the results we have.
It was both games were cracking in the end, and both games could have gone the other way. I mean, Hawthorn had the shot late in the game to potentially win that, hit the post, and then Giants probably thought they had it wrapped up, and that's 2 weeks in a row, and then they get overrun. So, exciting times and 2 really cracking games of footy, and a bit overshadowed by a few incidents, but ripping footy.
I'm sure you boys have already spoken about the Hinkley-Sicily drama, so we're not going to get into that. Let's look ahead, though, to Swans and Port Friday night. Your boys in a prelim. You've got to be excited. And I've done the math. I've looked over some of the trends. The Swans are 1-5 at home when they're favoured at the line. Are you happy to take Port Adelaide here?
Yeah, I am actually. I think Port Adelaide's record against the Swans, and you only have to go back 6 weeks. I know it was at Adelaide Oval. Team's probably in different form, 112 points, like blown away. And then I believe Port Adelaide, you're the numbers man, have beaten Sydney the last 8 times or something along those lines. They've got a really, really good record against them, played the SCG well, so you'd certainly take Port Adelaide at the line, and I wouldn't be surprised if Port win the game as well.
That's a big call. Charlie Dixon, do you think he plays this week?
Yeah, certainly does. I think he comes in, Marshall out, obviously with concussion protocols, but different beast at the SCG. We know it's a smaller ground. Footy comes in. Charlie, he may not mark the footy, but he doesn't get outmarked very often. So he can just stand there, provide a contest, get it to ground. Then you've got Willie Rioli and these guys cleaning up the scraps and knocking them over. So I think he's going to be really, really important actually to the dynamic of Port Adelaide this week and the way they structure. So he may stretch their defence as well. The Swans, we know they're probably a little bit undersized in defence. So if you play Georgiadis, Dixon, Radaglia, it could potentially stretch the Swans down there.
Rioli was outstanding last week against my Hawks. I'm sure the punters will be all over him this week. I know this is a tough question. Butters and Wines both had 30 touches when these 2 sides met earlier in the year. Do you think either can rack up the disposals in this one? Yeah,
I'd probably lean more to Ollie. Again, same thing. Sydney play that tight, uncontested game style, the SCG. Ollie always in and around those contests. Butters is more your burst player, which I think they'll have some time and attention into him, not allow him to burst out of those stoppages. So if I was going to take anyone for 30 plus, I'd be leaning towards Ollie.
There you go. I'm sure there'll be plenty of value in that one. Let's look ahead to Saturday, Cats v Lions. We've seen this one a number of times, a genuine rivalry game. The 2 narratives I want to ask you about, and you might say these are a myth, Brisbane at the G and the Cats off the bye. Which one worries you more?
Well, Geelong's off the bye, I think. I mean, their record after having a week off is not great, and that sounds stupid after they beat Port Adelaide by 84 points only a fortnight ago with a week off. But funnily enough, it's more probably a mid-season thing for Geelong that they struggle to get up. I know that their coaching staff would have made sure that they're ready to go, cherry ripe. I'm not a massive believer in Brisbane's record at the G. They don't play a great amount of games there. They're a kick away in a grand final last year from holding up the Premiership Cup. So I'm sort of, and it's probably more heart than anything, leaning towards the Lions winning that one as well. So I'm tipping a 20-year reunion of Port Adelaide and Brisbane Lions grand final.
I like the sounds of that. I've done the numbers for this game as well. Brisbane are a perfect 5-0 at the line as the away underdog over the last 12 months. You've already said you're with the Lions, so I won't ask you if you're going to back the line there. But the last 2 meetings have fallen under the total. We're getting 172.5 points this week combined. Do you think this is going to be a low-scoring game?
No, I think it'll be the other way. I think it'll be high-scoring. We know that Brisbane can score and can score heavily when they get going, and we've seen the Cats as well. They like to play that open brand of footy. They did it to Port Adelaide only a fortnight ago, and you can often in a final when the game gets away, so if potentially one team gets that gap, the other team just opens the floodgates and tries to win the game of footy, so you can get heavily scored against. So I think it'll go overs.
Well, if Brisbane kicks straight, it might go overs. That's the deciding factor. That might take them all the way through to the granny. Let's look ahead to Monday. We've got the Brownlow coming up. Just want to get a tip from you here. We've got Cripps and Dacos, both around the $2.50 mark. Lockie Neal, once again, the value at $8. Is it a 3-horse race, or do you see a dark horse emerging?
Yeah, I think it is a 3. I think Paddy Cripps will probably win his second, but don't be surprised if Lachie Neale wins his third as well. I think his second half of the year, and no one polls votes against him. Zorko may pinch a few off him this year, more so than previous years, but Lachie Neale, he stats up so well and has an impact around the contest. So, and I wouldn't discount Dacos either. I mean, some of his games were outstanding. I think it'll be a 3-horse race. Bontempelli will be thereabouts. Heaney might be out there early. He'll get run down. But, it sets up as an exciting count. I don't think there's a out-and-out clear standout like we've had previously in markets. But obviously, Lachie won at $13 or $14 last year.
He did, and I know Dill's tipping a dual Brownlow medalist like he does every single year. So I'm sure he'll be happy to see.
You throw enough darts, Ryan, one will hit.
Exactly right. Speaking of throwing darts, we only got one leg up last week. You took Jason Horne-Francis 2+, Lachie Neale 30+. I took the Hawks to win and Jesse Hogan 3+. Hogan was the only leg that got up in our multi. What do we got this week?
Yeah, well done on the Hogan leg. Other than that, we were horrible. I'm going to take Willem Drew for 20+. I think he'll get a run with roll, so he'll be around that footy, and I think he'll get a lot of inside handball. So I'm going to take him 20+ in the Swans versus Port Adelaide on Friday night. And then Josh Dunkley, I think he will have 25+. He just contributes week in, week out. It'll be a tough contest against the Cats. I think he'll have 25+.
Can't disagree with any of those legs. I am going, based on what we saw last week, Jase Burgoyne, 20+. He was one of the stars of that game against the Hawks. We're getting a good price for him to get some more disposals under his belt. And I like Charlie Cameron, 2+ goals as well against the Cats. $11.64. What do you think?
Yes. Well, again, I can't disagree with any leg that you've put forward, and I go in confident every single week with our multis, and it hasn't been successful. But $11.64, I think we'll have a collect this week.
Yeah, we're running out of time here. We still only got the one multi up for the season, one more than NRL. But we still got 2 weeks to get one. So fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah, good luck. Good on you, Ryan.
Cheers, Rocky.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.